Hi everyone, it's Sue Plumb here to share another scrapbook process video with you. Now today's layout is a little bit exciting because I am sharing my very first layout using the brand new These Days collection from Coco Vanilla Studio. I have to say I was so excited to dig into this collection. I have been in love with this collection ever since Zoe revealed it. And then when the box arrived on my doorstep and I was actually able to pick the things up in my hands and touch them and take them out of the packets, I can tell you that I love it even more. I can see a lot of family themed layouts being created with this collection, and yeah, I absolutely love it. Now, I might have said this before in a previous video, but I tend to get a bit overwhelmed when I get a new collection. Like, everything is so pretty and so beautiful and you just don't know what to use first and you don't want to cut into things. So I tend to sit on them for a few days and I look at them and I think about them, and then I eventually break the drought and get stuck into it. So for this first layout, I decided to keep things fairly simple, and I shied away from doing any kind of mixed media because I really wanted to dig into some of those beautiful pattern papers. So what I did was I actually used a sheet of white cardstock just as the base of my page, and I pulled out two of the papers from the collection that drew my eye immediately. Now, the first one was that Family Ties paper, which has got the watercolor style stripes on it, and the reason I was attracted to this paper first is because it looks very much like the stripes that are on my daughter's t-shirt that she's wearing in the photo that I am documenting. So that was my first choice, but I didn't want to just use the striped paper as a background because I thought that might be a little bit too overwhelming and sort of detract from the photo a little. So I decided just to use some strips of it. Now, I didn't want to use sort of thin strips on the page because I really wanted to get the impact of all of those coloured stripes next to one another. So I just decided to break my page up into four sort of large, wide strips of paper. And the other paper that I am using in the layout there that I used two strips of was the one that's got all the doodled frames on it, and that's called Wall of Fame. And I love this paper, and I know that a number of our design team were attracted to this paper first as well. It's just really different and it's really cute, and I thought that, just a couple of bits of that would help to break up all the stripes on my page. So once I had my four strips there, I just used my little Heidi Swap distresser, and I just distressed the edges of those strips just to give it a little bit of texture on the page, and then I just roughly stuck them on the background there. I left a little bit of a gap between just for a bit of space, bring a little bit of whiteness back into the page as well. And I just placed them in an alternating pattern so that I had stripes, frames running down the page. So my goal was to place my photo on the page somewhere where the stripes would run behind sort of the focal point of my page, because that's where the eye tends to go. Those horizontal lines tend to draw the eye in, and I wanted to sit the photo over the top of those stripes somewhere. So I had a little fuss and a fiddle, and I had to work out sort of which side of the page that my photo was going to sit. I knew I also wanted to matte the photo, but I didn't want to matte the photo in something bold. I did initially toss around the idea of a couple of other patterns, but in the end I went back to this black and white floral, and I actually used the one from the A5 paper stack so that it's got the smaller scale pattern on it, because I just wanted something really subtle behind the photo. And I also added in a white doily, and I also added in some frayed gauze just for a bit of texture as well. So basically that was all that I had sitting in sort of the layers of the matte behind my photo. I'd also popped my photo up onto a bit of scrap cardboard just to bring it up a bit from that background. And you can see that I've settled on my placement there. Now, once I had the photo placed on the page, which is a very, very cute photo, by the way. It's a photo of my daughter and one of my sons, and they just fell asleep on the couch together. She was sort of resting on him. I think they were watching a movie or something. It was from a few years ago. And boy, what I wouldn't give to see them snuggled up and watching a movie like that these days. But you know what happens when they get older. So once I had my photo placed on the page, I decided I was going to go with 3 main embellishment clusters. So my idea was I wanted to put an embellishment cluster in the top right corner of my photo. I wanted an embellishment cluster in the bottom left corner of my photo. And then I also wanted something in that right bottom corner of my photo where the orange cushion is in the photo. And I knew I wanted to cover up part of that as well, because that orange cushion was really sort of dominant in the photo, and I wanted to cover up part of it so that it didn't detract from their little sweet faces. So when I found this little banner piece, which says Picture Perfect Moments in the ephemera pack, I knew that was exactly the right piece to pop on top there and just cover up some of that big blocky orange spot on the photo, and it was perfect. So from the ephemera pack, I also pulled out a sweet little house, which you'll see that I tuck under the bottom right corner of the photo. I also ended up pulling out a little die-cut heart that I added into my cluster. And in that cluster, I also ended up putting one of the puffy stickers as well. And that sort of blocked off that bottom right corner of my photo. Now, for my other 2 embellishment clusters, because of the way the kids were laying in that photo, it was on an angle. If you have a look at the line of their faces, they're sort of on a diagonal line. So I decided when I built these 2 clusters on the, opposing corners of my photo, that I wanted to continue that diagonal line. So I sort of wanted the top right cluster to angle up towards the top right corner of my page, and I wanted that bottom left cluster to sort of trail down towards the bottom left corner of my page. Now, I hope you followed all of that, but that's basically just continuing that line of the focal point where their faces were, and it just helps draw the viewer's eye like straight through the photo, really. Now, when I saw the floral ephemera pack that's included in this collection, I knew I wanted to play with them straight away, because they are awesome. There are so many colors and sizes and styles of flowers in there that I knew I just wanted to build some floral clusters, basically. So that's exactly what I did. I just pulled out an assortment. You'll see in this layout that I do fluff around with these flowers quite a bit, simply because this was the first time I had them out of the packet, and I hadn't really had a chance to look at every single one of them. So I was kind of looking as I went. So you'll have to forgive me that I'm not working quite as fast as I would usually work. So you can see that I am just tucking some of the flowers under the edge of the photo. I also like to have them sort of overlap the photo slightly. I'm popping some up with some foam tape for dimension. Some of them I'm sticking straight down on the page, just using my Scotch tacky glue in my fine line bottle. But the other thing that I am doing is I am bending the petals up away from the page, just to give that extra dimension. So you can see I have that little cluster sort of on the left corner there that you can see is sort of trailing down to that left corner of the page. I also added in one of the branches from the ephemera pack there, which is just a sketchy style leafy branch. I found another one similar, which I do end up using in the top right cluster, as well as another green leafy branch as well, just to bring a little bit more green into the page. So I just I didn't mirror it exactly, but yeah, I built another floral cluster up on that right side, just so that the flowers are trailing down through the photo. Look at me go. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. Can you see how many photos are photos? I swear, it's late in the afternoon, forgive me. How many flowers are in that ephemera pack? There are so many to choose from. I think there's like 55 pieces in that pack. Now, if you're a big flower user, that still might not be enough for you. You might want 2 of these packs, but they are lots of fun to play with. And I swear, Zoe just does the best flowers, doesn't she? I mean, she does the best everything, but she really does do the best flowers. So there I am. You can see how I'm bending up those petals as I'm sticking them down. As I said, I did end up with 2 branches in this cluster because I had that sort of sketchy one there, and then I did use another green one to really sort of point up towards that top right corner. Now, in terms of embellishments for this collection, I had them all piled up on the desk when I started to put this layout together. And in the end, I didn't use a huge amount of them simply because there are so many to choose from. So in addition to the floral ephemera pack, there is also the normal sort of die cut ephemera pack. There are foam title stickers. There's mini puffy alpha stickers, which I absolutely love. Make sure you get them. If you're getting this collection, make sure you get those mini puffy alphas because they are to die for. They're actually based on a font that Zoe hand drew, so they are totally unique to Cocoa Vanilla Studio and nobody else is going to have that font. You can see the foam title stickers just sort of flashed on there. And that's what I used for my title. I used the word sweet, which I stuck just along the top edge of my photo. And then I used the mini puffy alphas to put the word slumber underneath, again, directly on my photo, because you know I love sticking things on my photos. Going back to the embellishments, there are also wood buttons. There are clear stickers, there are the accessory stickers, there are puffy stickers, there are these mini puffy hearts, which are super, super cute. And I didn't even end up putting one on this page because, as I said, I had so many embellishments on my desk that some of them just got overlooked, unfortunately. I reached the point with this page where I knew it was done and it wasn't worth sticking more things on just for the sake of sticking things on. So you will see those little sweet little puffy hearts, the little mini gold ones, make an appearance at some stage in the future. So I don't know if I've covered everything there. I probably haven't covered everything because, like I said, there is just so much in this collection. It is the biggest collection that Zoe has ever done, and she has done herself proud. So from that foam title pack that's there, which is in a beautiful charcoal color. It's not quite black. It's in this sort of charcoal grey color, which is just that little bit softer to go with all the muted tones in this collection. There are a few little leafy branches in there, just little clusters of leaves that I also tucked in around my floral clusters there, just to help bring that dark color in a bit more so that the word sweet wasn't like sticking out and it wasn't sort of taking over the page. So that extra little splash of darkness around the page just helps tie it together beautifully. Now you can see that I've used one of the smaller size wood buttons I used as a center of one of my flowers in that bottom left cluster. I also used some of the phrase stickers from the accessory sticker sheet, which I just sort of scattered to follow that diagonal line through my layout as well. And I finished off with some black ink splatters. Now, I probably should have covered my photo because my son ended up with one splodge on his head, which you'll see I'm just trying to deal with there. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I popped my journaling inside one of the frames on the paper. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again soon. Bye.